Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. And my last pick was Paramount Plus, and I was looking into what's on there, and I found The Haunting, which I also have on VHS, so I can show this off. The Haunting. Uh so I really love The Haunting of Hill House show, which was sort of based on the story this came from in the original movie. And um, what the hell was this? This was like, I know that it took a lot of liberties with the show, but this was what? So I know that I know some stuff from the original because I looked it up and I did some research. And so they got Jan de Bont, who directed Twister, which I like, and Speed, which I love. But this movie is I don't know. Story is that a woman named Eleanor, her mother dies, and her sister and her sister's husband are going to basically sell the apartment, get rid of the apartment for some reason, because they have control over the will, which I don't know. I feel like the apartment should go to Eleanor, but she's now in an apartment and she gets a phone call about this uh, this sleep insomnia test thing they're doing. Experiment. That is the word. They're doing at Hill House. And there's only three of them plus the doctor, professor guy played by uh, Liam Neeson, who slips in and out of his Irish accent in this movie. You have Catherine Zeta-Jones as Theo, and Owen Wilson, wow, as Luke, and then Eleanor is played by Lily Taylor, you may know from The Conjuring, and they go in, and it becomes this. Okay, so I know that in the original film, uh, they played it very. Um, they downplayed it. They're very subtle with it. But this movie, no. There was always a question in the original movie, from what I read, that, from what I hear about it, that you could, like, it was up to the audience whether or not this stuff was actually going on, or if, it was all in their heads. And they try to play that here, but it doesn't work. Because there's a bunch of stuff starts happening, right? And then, like, something happens that scares Theo and uh, and Eleanor. And it's another thing. In the original, it was hinted at. It was implied that Theo could be lesbian or bisexual. In here, no, it's the 90s. She's got to be out, right? So, yeah, my boyfriend likes it, but my girlfriend doesn't. And so she's out. That takes away the tension because it's implied that she might be. You never know. Something might happen. And it's back in those days, But yeah, they get scared. Luke shows up, and they're like, "Maybe I didn't hear any other noise except for you calling me. I didn't call you. Maybe the ghost made it appear like they were calling him. Who knows?" But the next day, they hear noises in the pipe, and they're like, "Oh, maybe that's what it was." And Theo's like, "Well, I did just take a bath." Sorry, I was thinking of Catherine Zeta-Jones in the bathtub. So maybe that's what it was, and that's interesting. That's something you could do. Too bad you already shown earlier that there was something in the house, because we saw earlier with the assistant and the other guy the piano wire undo itself and snap in her face. Now, if you didn't show us it undoing itself, that would have been something, and it's just snapped off, cracked her in the face. It was an accident. But they specifically show you, they close in on it undoing itself and snapping off, hit her in the face, and they have to take those two characters away, which, what was the point of them being there? Like, she's his assistant, she's the doctor's assistant, and there's some other guy, and then after that they leave and they never come back. Although I do want to point out, they do say later that they make a point to say that the caretakers leave before it gets dark. So how the hell were those two able to leave if the caretakers had already left? So I don't think the caretakers were there yet. It was already dark. It's dark when they leave, so I don't know. It's not in the movie anymore. And Eleanor starts to investigate the weird goings-ons. And it's so uneven in this because she's scared for her life about what happened with her and Theo. And in the very next scene, she's all whimsical about it. Like, oh, I've always wanted a house like this, and I've always wanted. I'm like, whoa. And then she's scared again later. Like, and there's like faces, horrible CGI faces in the pillows and sheets and stuff. And that's another thing. They show you the snap thing, and then they, the piano wire snap, undoing itself and snapping. And then they try to play, oh, it was just the noise of the pipes. And then in the very next scene, they show you there are ghosts in the house. So what was the point of pointing out it was the pipes? Trying to convince the characters, sure, but the audience already knows there's something in the house. It's called The Haunting, for God's sake. It all points like the whole it's a sleep experiment versus they just know about it, like in the original. It screams of we're trying to be subtle or we're trying to imply there's nothing here, but it's so uneven. And again, she gets freaked out. Like someone draws her name, says "Welcome home, Eleanor" on the wall. She gets all freaked out. Very next scene, she's all normal and whimsical and happy again. Like, was Lee Taylor on drugs or something during this? I don't understand that at all. And nothing happens in this movie. There's a bunch of them going around, something weird pops up, but we only have 4 central characters. So you can't have ghosts picking off characters one by one. Now, if you kept the other 2, and they were picked off one by one at first, that's one thing. But no, they're just going around spooky things. And I know you're going to say, well, Scotty, it's a haunted house film. You don't have to pick them up one by one. Do you look at House on Haunted Hill? They did that. The remake did that. It was a haunted house film. 13 Ghosts also sort of did that. Although they were being captured, not killed. But still, something could be happening to these people other than, ooga booga booga booga, every once in a while. And then people saying, no, there's nothing wrong with this house. Eventually it gets too much that Professor Qui-Gon here says, no, it's just a story I made up. That this, I was trying just to scare you, and it's nothing. It's not real. And she's like, it is real. No, it's not real. And then Owen Wilson spouting out the obvious every 5 minutes. The statue's really creepy. Oh, it's not gonna hold you weight. You're gonna fall. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Oh, I really got a thing for Theo. We know. He's just setting up the obvious. Wow. We do get a wow in there, too. And it's so out of place there, too, because he's coming in because he thinks he heard them yelling for him. And so he comes in to see if there's anything going on. And he walks in, and he's like, oh, I heard you yelling for me. And he looks around, and he's like, wow, I really got screwed in the bedroom thing. Aren't you supposed to be looking for something dangerous? And let's talk about the who's holding my hand line. Now, she gets spooked. She gets knocked out of bed, and she says, who's holding my hand? For those of you who might be confused, as I was, I had to look it up. Like, what did she mean, who's holding my hand? What? Huh? Apparently, in the original film, that was done with subtlety and done better, there was a scene with her and Theo where it got dark, and she thought she was holding Theo's hand, but when Theo turned on the light, there was no one there. With the line, whose hand was I holding? That makes sense. And again, it was a 4 to 5 minute scene that built the tension. Here, it's one throwaway line that makes no fucking sense. At all. Who's holding my hand? What do you mean, who's holding your hand? It was never indicated anyone was holding your hand. What? Huh? It's like they're like, oh, that was an original. We have to throw it in there somewhere. Even though it makes no sense. Speaking of making no sense, we get the twist. It's revealed that Eleanor is the great-great-granddaughter of Hugh Crane and Carolyn. Yeah. And so that was her her home, and so she has to stay there now. And there's just one problem with that: her fucking sister. Why did it specifically go after her and not her sister? If it was going after the bloodline, not Roman Reigns and the Usos, but the Crane bloodline, wouldn't her sister, because it says great great grandmother, so her sister would also be a part of this, right? So why wasn't her sister invited there? Her sister never shows up again after the beginning of the film, by the way. Her sister, what was the actress's name? It's a throwaway cameo. I don't remember. It's not in the back, is it? No, it just has Liam Neeson, Kevin Zeta-Jones, Owen Wilson, and Lily Taylor. Throwaway cameo. Her brother-in-law is the lawyer from Lost during season 5. But she's just there at the beginning and never. It's only to establish that she has no home, so there's no reason for her to leave the house. That's all it is. And so now she's gonna stay. It's about family. No, I don't know. I don't care. And so you're gonna hurt the children. They're ghosts. He's still dangerous. No, he's not. He's a horrible CGI creature. It's a ghost. And then they try to. Like Owen Wilson tries to drive Eleanor's car. Why Eleanor's car? He's like, Eleanor, I need your car. I'm like, why her car? Don't you have a car? And it's a little dinky car. You think that's going to go through the gate? It doesn't work because I have to wait for the Dudleys, the caretakers, to show up. Even though the other two left before that. But now, all of a sudden, the gate is locked, And, then Owen Wilson dies in some weird, goofy decapitation thing where he's pulled by a rug into the fireplace. Which, why doesn't anyone grab the rug and pull it back? Why doesn't Owen Wilson roll off the rug? He's just like, I know you're scared, but you could roll off it. And then he gets in there and he just stands there the entire time. You were specifically pulled in there. Y'all think you would want to move. And no, he gets decapitation. And then, bones start flying out of the hidden thing. That's another thing. Earlier, she tries to tell them there were bones in the fireplace, and they won't look. Like, look. She's like, look at the fireplace. Look at the fireplace. He's not going to look in the fireplace. Why isn't he going to look in the fireplace? Why don't they give it the benefit of the doubt? Just saying. And Eleanor stays behind, and the other two get out and meet the Dudleys. And that's how it ends. And no, this movie's not worth your time. I'm going to say that now. It's not worth your time. It's not as frustrating to me as it is to others that people just get really pissed about it. But I was never invested in this movie. I just found it, I was like, I hear a lot of things about it. Let me try to watch it. It's not worth your time. That's the score I give it. But, So what are your thoughts on The Haunting? And no comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. This time, I am not going to do this because the next one's already been picked. It's Tubi. So, The Haunting is already down. Okay. Tubi's the next one, and it'll be for Tubi Tuesday. You'll be seeing this on Monday. So what are you... like I said, I did it already. So, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.